All right, let's talk a little economy, although crime is about the economy, too, as I said earlier. High crime is like a tax hike on everybody. Low crime is a tax cut, bring the people out, go back to work, but alas. Anyway, we've got Forbes media chairman and editor-in-chief, my great friend Steve Forbes, and my Trump colleague Russ Vought, former OMB director and now president of the Center for Renewing America. And I was able to make the acquaintance of Mary Vought at the Republican Governor's Conference, and she is fabulous. So Steve Forbes, the ADP private payrolls dropped 300,000. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's not correlated with the jobs report on Friday. But the Biden administration is out warning people that jobs may fall. The level of employment may actually fall in Friday's report for the month of January. Of course, Steve Forbes, they're blaming it on Omicron. What do you think? Is it all about Omicron or what?
It's a large part about Omicron, but it also is about the policies they've pursued that have hurt our ability to recover from the pandemic, getting over these shortages. We all know what they've done to the energy industry, absolutely out to destroy it, and then beg Vladimir Putin to bail them out at the pump, so to speak. And they're putting in regulations. They want the banks to push climate change policies and the like. You see their appointments to the Federal Reserve about more intervention in the economy, using antitrust to tell companies how to run their businesses. This is creating an environment where you're going to get subpar job creation, subpar growth and productivity.
You know, Russ Vought, it's interesting to me. They're going to get wounded when the job numbers come out on Friday morning, if they're as bad as people think. One never knows. But to some extent, Russ, it's a self-inflicted wound. Because my thought, in addition to the fundamentals that Steve Forbes just mentioned, which are all anti-growth, the fact is, all these mandates, now they got thrown out in the courts, but the vaccination mandates kept hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of, I don't know how many, millions of people didn't go to work. And it hit the same time Omicron was peaking because they disagreed. Either they didn't want it. I mean, I'm pro-vaccination, but not everyone is. A lot of people have natural immunity, right, because they already had the thing and lived to tell the story and didn't need another vaccination. I mean, I think, in other words, the cure, Russ Vought, is worse than a disease when it comes to jobs and the economy.
No question about it. The vaccine mandate has had a really harmful impact on the economy. And I think their entire COVID policy has, to the extent to which they continue to govern on a basis of fear, with that particular variant was relatively mild, and yet it had ripple effects. I saw it in small businesses and diners and churches. People were largely staying home, and that has an impact on people coming into these businesses and their ability to hire. And I think the other main point is that the welfare system, the amount of benefits that we have in this country, people are realizing how rich those are, and that they are not in any rush to get back into the economic world.
Yep, I'm afraid you're right. So, you know, Steve Forbes, we had 3 no's and a dead from Joe Manchin yesterday. Build Back Better is dead. He said, you know, you get all these left-wing puff pieces, and sadly, even the Wall Street Journal news people did the same thing, that he's negotiating and this and that. And he just got out there in a corridor on the Senate office building, I think, and just said, no, 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 and Build Back Better is dead. I love that. But things are never dead, right, in Washington, D.C., and we're going to get Russ involved in this. I know Russ loves this stuff. There's going to be appropriations. They got a new government, some kind of government spending bill is due on February 18th. God knows what they're going to do to that. And then there's a Chinese bill, which is supposed to defend America against Chinese encroachments, but it's another big spending bill. And then there's the White House wants a COVID bill. In other words, Build Back Better is never dead because they want COVID bills and China bills, and it's all Build Back Better. Steve Forbes.
Well, that's right. It's like a monster from the lagoons or the swamp. You think you've killed the beast, then it comes back either as a very same monster or different kinds of monsters, but they always slither back. And so they're going to try to slip through child tax credits and the like and other things, not with work requirements. And they're also going to keep pushing these dreadful appointments they're making to regulatory agencies, oversight agencies, hoping they can slip some of them through, which is also going to gum up the economy. These people are not going to give up until they get a thrashing in the November elections, and the Republicans can put an effective brake, especially on this these regulations coming out that are hurting the economy.
Yeah, we need a good spanking. Russ Vought, headline in the Wall Street Journal, $30 trillion debt. Not exactly right. I mean, it's intergovernmental debt. But the debt is $23 trillion. Debt held in public hands. Federal debt, marketable debt held in public hands, is now about the same as gross domestic product, GDP. So we're at par, 100%. That can't be good. And Russ, I know you and Mike Solon are going on. You've got to have a new government spending bill, am I right, February 18th? And the baselines look terrible, and it's going to increase debt even more. Can you somehow summarize that for us? The debt binge continues.
It does. So you've got the Build Back Better is basically dead, but they're coming up on a deadline of February 18th to finish the annual normal appropriations process. And Democrats want to increase spending by 16%. That's about $200 billion. If you do that over the life of the entire 10-year window, which is, of course, how baseline budgeting works, you're looking at trillions of dollars in spending that we're not even talking about as a result. Look, Senate Republicans have the ability to stop this legislation. They need to do it. If they care about $30 trillion in debt, they need to use their ability in the Senate to stay, we're not going forward with these kinds of increases, and we're actually going to get spending under control for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, we'll never get spending under control. Even if the Republicans win back Washington, maybe we will. I don't want to be too cynical. What I'll say is federal spending before the pandemic, fellas, 21% of GDP, okay? Not fabulous, but not bad, 21% of GDP. It should be down around 17 or 18. Federal spending in fiscal 20 and fiscal 21, 31% of GDP. And the CBO says even next year, when that stuff runs off, fiscal 22, still going to be 23% of GDP. That's what you're talking about, Russ. It's not over till it's over. I mean, we're still going to be way too high on federal spending and way too high in deficits. I mean, that's the bottom line. Steve Forbes, Modern Socialism, I'm going to give you the last word.
They're pursuing it. As we've discussed, you don't need to take things over. You just need to control them. So businesses can only survive at the sufferance of the Elizabeth Warrens in Washington and the Bernie Sanders. Bad stuff. We got to throw it out in November. And in the meantime, prevent as much of it as we can from happening.
And by the way, Russ, federal spending excess does create inflation because, among other things, it's monetized and enabled by the Federal Reserve. And they're appointing, their nominees to the Fed are climate change, woke social policies, reparations for slavery, nothing about fighting inflation. I mean, Larry Summers said this 6 months ago. The guy's right. Look at who they're appointing. They're appointing, you know, I'm not going to say they're professionally credentialed, but their opinions are all wrong.
Yeah, and if you expect a set of nominees to take really tough, aggressive action against inflation, and yet they're signing up for all of this woke nonsense, you're just disbelieving the reality of what's before you. There's no chance that these nominees are going to take the type of very difficult action that goes against what the political class is saying and to really get a handle on inflation. Right now, it's not looking good.
Woke nonsense. It's an alternative universe. Russ Vought, Steve Forbes, thanks very much.